Hey everyone, Doug here with TJetClub. Got a quick tip for you today. When I am building cars, sometimes I run out of gears, believe it or not. And I'll show you what I do in a pinch to replace a pinion gear. If you're like me, sometimes you got these drive gears that are worn out. They don't fit on the drive shaft anymore. And you can get in there and pin them and make them a little bit smaller and try and use them again, and that works maybe once or twice, but eventually the holes in these get worn out and they just don't work as a drive gear anymore. So what I do is I drill them out and turn them into pinion gears. It's the same size tooth. It's a 24 tooth gear, and it's the same size, so you can actually turn them from the rear drive gear to the center pinion gear. And all it takes is you just drill out these. And what I do is, since I'm a jeweler, I've got a bunch of jeweler tools. The size drill bit or ball burr that I use is 2.4 millimeters, or a little bit larger than 90 thousandths of an inch. And I'll drill about halfway through one side, flip it around, drill the rest through the other side, just so that I'm sure that it lines up straight and it doesn't kind of go through at an angle, so that it rides true. It's just a matter of drilling them out, and then once I drill them out, I'll take a broken toothpick, or I just take a toothpick, cut it in half, put this in my Fordham. And I use a foot-powered Fordham versus a Dremel tool, just because Dremel tools usually have two speeds, really fast and super fast. I like a little bit more control, so I use a flex shaft or a Fordham flex shaft, which is foot controlled, and you can control the RPM way down so that you have a little bit more control. So what I'll do is I'll just drill those through on both sides so that the hole is nice and true, and then I'll go in with some rouge on a toothpick and polish that inside, so it takes any of the chatter out of the drilling process, so that it runs nice and smooth on the shaft. So give it a try. If you've got a pile of drive gears that the hole is just a little bit too big for the shaft, then try and drill them out and take them and reuse them as a pinion gear. Then when I'm done drilling through that, what I'll do is I'll take a little bit larger ball burr, and just by hand I'll stick it in there and just turn it just to take off that edge from drilling. You do that on both sides just so that it doesn't have a sharp edge that cuts into the top gear plastic. And one last thing I will do is I will wet sand these gears on both sides just to take away, sometimes the teeth have a little bit of sharp edges hanging off of them just from being used, and also sometimes they'll get some scratches on them. So I just take, this is like 600 to 1000 grit sandpaper, just a little bit of water, and then just rotate them with your fingers. That just smooths everything out. And then once that's done, I will clean these off and take that same rouge that I used on the toothpick, put it on a piece of paper, and finish polishing these so that they're nice and smooth and shiny and less friction. So that's one way that I reuse parts and bring them back to life. Because even sometimes on that center pinion gear, after you've run it for a while, the hole actually gets a little bit larger and it kind of flops around. So you can take those old drive gears and drill them out to whatever size you need to, because if you've noticed, the center posts on those top plates are not all exactly the same size. They get worn down, or some of them are bigger or flatter. So you can actually drill out the drive gear, make a new pinion according to the top plate hole. You know, they're very, just a slight bit, but sometimes that makes a good difference when you got a pinion gear that's flopping around in there. You can just create a new one. It's a lot easier to do that than to try and make a larger hole smaller. So hope that helps. Again, this is Doug with TJetClub, and some of the parts that I used, the rouge and stuff like that, you can use just about any kind of rouge polishing compound, but I do have it for sale at TJetClub.com. See you next time.